Okay, so I'm going to get started. I know you guys have a lot planned for this afternoon, so I'm just going to jump right in. I'm Christine Robertson, the Executive Vice President and Chief of Staff for EMSDC. Welcome to our Share in Harrisburg event. This event is typically held in Harrisburg, but of course we are now virtual and no longer exclusive to Harrisburg. Although we have pivoted and increased our reach, the purpose is still the same: to connect companies who have buying and sourcing needs with great MWDBEs who can meet those needs during the matchmaker portion of the day. Before I introduce today's guest speaker, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Johnson Controls, UPMC Health Plan, and Zones. Thank you all for partnering with us for this important matchmaker event. It's greatly appreciated. I'd also like to thank the Planning Committee for their commitment and the investment of their time and energy to ensure success. Thanks, everyone. And lastly, before I introduce today's guest speaker, if you have any questions or comments for the speaker, please use the chat feature, which will be monitored. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Leland Nelson. Leland, a lifelong 49ers fan, is a business advisor for over 150 small businesses throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Georgia, North Carolina, New York, and the list goes on. He also proudly serves as the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce of Central PA, charter member of the Greater Harrisburg chapter of the National Black MBA, advisory board member of the Delaware State University's College of Business, and board member at Central Penn College. Mr. Nelson is considered a portfolio entrepreneur with past business ventures in home restoration, private label clothing, event promotion, and is currently the president of Dirty Dog Hauling, a professional junk removal company, and Think Tank Consulting, is specializing in management consulting. Leland earned a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from Delaware State University, where he also started his first business, CMB Photography, which grew into a system of partners that provided instant photography services to Lincoln University, Wesley College, University of Delaware, Cheney, and Hampton University. In 2017, Leland completed his MBA from Penn State University with a concentration in data analytics, while serving as the first graduate advisor for the newly formed Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Leland started his career as an accountant at KPMG LLP, a Big Four advisory and tax firm in Harrisburg, where he rose to the rank of supervising senior accountant. During his tenure there, he was on the engagement team for such companies as Rite Aid Corporation, York International, Hershey Creamery, Shop Bank, Caterpillar, and Swatch Watch. For fun, Mr. Nelson has served as the head coach of the Harrisburg Cougars Wrestling Club since 2008. Leland, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christine, and welcome everyone. Man, I sound pretty decent on paper. I do appreciate that. I didn't know the words would sound so good when you listen to them. I do appreciate it. I'm humbled by being selected as the opening speaker for the SHARE event. I'm also on a committee, third year, and I'm very excited about what's to come. You know, pivoting in this pandemic has not been easy, but this SHARE event, we want to be very, very intentional. I'm a small business owner, as you heard, president of the African American Chamber. So my lens, you know, sometimes when you start asking questions at these different events, you get voluntold to be the keynote speaker. So that's just something to make you guys laugh. It was like, oh yeah, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. Well, Leland, why don't you be our opening speaker since you have so much to say? So sometimes, you know, you open your mouth, you get yourself in a whole world of trouble, but I know it's for the greater good. So here we are. Next slide. So Christine, I won't spend a long time on this, but I've been serving as the president of the African American Chamber for the last 10 years. As Christine mentioned, I run a company called Think Tank Consulting. which is if it starts, we do management consulting and robotic process automation, which is has been very, very hot in the last year because of the pandemic, helping companies to automate the mundane tasks they have in their company. So it's been very good. The president of the chamber, I've been helping companies with the PPP loan, getting relief from their for the properties that they're renting, and then helping them to actually pivot in the pandemic with an event called the Breakfast Club, which we do every month to help companies kind of come together and share best practices. The picture up top is me at a Ask the Banker event that we do with the chamber, and the one below is just my love for wrestling. So I want to share that picture. It's always humbling when you have someone with a singlet on from high school. So I just want to share that picture. Next slide. So let's get on the same page. It's important that we really, really be transparent and get on the same page, if you will, the same page of music. So let's share and maximize this day. What I mean by that, I want you to, it's no pledge here, but if I saw you in person, I might say, hey, raise your hand and say, I will proactively engage suppliers. Proactively engaging suppliers is very key because, as most of the suppliers and buyers here, before I got here this morning, I had sweatpants on and, just relaxing. Now you put a dress shirt on, you put a tie on. I haven't worn a tie in 9 months, literally. You put a tie on, you have your cap statement done. I have my insurance lined up. I checked for my MSDC certification to make sure it was still valid. My DGS certification to make sure it was still valid. So you check off all these boxes. And at the end of it, what you really want is an opportunity, a real opportunity to work with these businesses, these buyers, these are supplier diversity buyers in this conference. So the second one, I will communicate with context after this event to see where opportunities align. I know you can't get everything done today. The event, the matchmaking is 15 to 30 minutes maybe. So it's going to be some follow-up. I will just ask the third bullet, very, very key, because I've been part of SHARE for 3 years. And one of my biggest pet peeves, just being transparent and honest. We have to be that in this pandemic, we have to be transparent and honest. I won't ghost my suppliers, but I'll provide constructive feedback and next steps. What that means for me as a small business owner, if it's not the right time, tell me it's not the right time. I'm a big boy. I'm sure these companies on this thread could say, thank you for your honesty. I'll touch back with you in 3 to 6 months. But to have calls and emails go unanswered, we're looking for professional courtesy. As a small business owner, we don't have the resources that most of these big companies have. So it's very important to say, hey guys, I appreciate you reaching out. I'm not ready right now. I'll check back with you in 2 weeks. Let's have a dialogue that helps that small business owner know where they stand in the process. Next slide. So by the numbers, clap it up for yourself. I wish it was live a little bit because I would say clap it up for yourself. This number is old. The 118 suppliers, it's higher than that. The buyers is higher than that. So it's about almost 200 people combined coming on. It says 74 right now, but you can have different companies sharing a screen, maybe doing it in their boardroom or their common area. But there's a lot of matchmaking being done. There's over 80 appointments to date. And let me give you a quick story. And Matt, I'm gonna call you out. I met with my classmate, Matt Crocker from the Hershey Company. We met for coffee this morning at 7:45. I was not dressed like this, Matt. I was totally in, t-shirts and pants. And I said, Matt, they're trying to do some things regarding Hershey supplier diversity. And I said, you got to become part of SHARE. So he opened up his laptop, registered on the fly, and he's here today. So thank you, Matt, for being here and all other buyers here. So let's take this time that we invested and see a result from the time we're putting in today. Next slide. So what is the power of one? I think you saw that in your emails and in your inboxes regarding the initiative. We keep on talking about like level setting and saying, what's the message here that we want to give to the buyers and the suppliers? For the suppliers, I think it would be agreeable to what I'm going to say right now. It's opportunities. needed for expansion. Give me an opportunity to expand. If it means that, we get together, we talk about it, sometimes I might not be quite ready. I might not be quite ready for the major leagues. So the supplier has to be honest with himself or herself. And the supplier or buyer should also say, hey, you know what, let's take these steps, but don't keep on moving the goalpost. Have it that this person completes these things, you give them a chance. It may be as little as a smaller contract, an unbundled contract, a no bid RFP, under $5,000, under $10,000 contract. But when you give that opportunity, it means the world to that person. I'll give you another case in point. When we want to do things, we can. In this pandemic, we use a lot of ingenuity. We got to the point where we've never been in this place before, and we had to get real creative. And most people say, oh, we can't go virtual. We can't work from home. We're doing a Zoom with over 100 people from home. So it can be done. And sometimes necessity is the mother of all invention. This is a necessity. These small diverse businesses are going through their own pandemic. When it's time to come back online, we're going to be looking for opportunity. This is the best opportunity to engage small diverse businesses now. Come out of this pandemic bigger, stronger, and expanding your company. So it's very important that we kind of be very transparent, very intentional. I'm going to keep on saying that to allow these companies the opportunity so they can expand. Next slide. This has been reiterated, what we said as a committee, the power of one diverse business, one corporate connection, one contract. I have a great example of this. The Breakfast Club we did 2 weeks ago. At the time, a friend of mine and a friend of many of you, Tina Nixon, came in for coffee. I happened to be at the same location having coffee, and we were delivering the Breakfast Club with about 25 small businesses. She heard a young man talk about his catering company, and she just texted me and said, hey, that young man, he seemed pretty sharp. I'd like to meet with him to see what the opportunities may be to engage his services, to cater one of our events. Now, he never reached out to anyone. She just heard about him, but she was thinking proactively, always looking for a way to engage a small, diverse business. We are going to have that meeting 2 weeks from now. It won't be a share. I consider it a share win because I was there and he was. But and UPMC is here today. But that's what we got to do. We got to keep our eyes and ears open. It starts today. This sparks it again, But after today, the people you do not contact, make sure we kind of send a blast email, make a phone call, set up coffee or a virtual call by industry to really engage these small businesses. Next slide. I'm sure you all heard of this. I wish we could do like a little breakout session here, but we can't. But we want SMART goals. So individually, we want these to be specific as far as your small diverse business engagement, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Now, the one I want to say about realistic, as my role as the African American Chamber President, doing the Black Lives Matter is still here, but Black Lives Matter, and like last year with this all the rave, I was getting my phone would go off, my email would go off. I probably had 80 different meetings over a 4-month period. And everybody was like, we want more diverse suppliers. Give me your list. I'm not giving you my list because you're not going to do anything with it more than likely. It's a knee-jerk reaction. Let's be realistic. Sometimes hurry up and run or hurry up and wait. Now, I wish I could have somebody in the chat box say amen, but it's like a hurry up and run or hurry up and wait. I want to make sure we get the first at bat. Like just, make sure we're not too fast going from 0 to 100 because nothing will really happen at that time. It's knee jerk. But now in this current conference, having SMART goals for the people that we meet today, walking them through the process. Hey, specifically what this committee wants is one. If we get one per buyer, it's going to mean the world to us. Because the committee always asks the question, well, how many people are really engaged? We never can find out after the conference is over. Sometimes you'll come to the conference and say, okay, that was great. And then nothing happens a week, a month, a year later. We want to make sure when we call back and go back around the circle. We can say, well, who did you engage? How much is the contract? We want to be to have examples of people that came to share this year and can tell the story. They're in my seat next year saying, you know what, I met someone, went through the process, and here's where we are. I give you another example. I think it was March 18th or 19th of 2020. I'm sorry, it was right when the pandemic hit. I was scheduled to go to PPNL for their Supplier Diversity Conference in Allentown. Tremaine Terry, good friend of mine, he decided to, he invited me. I was intending to go. They canceled it and did it all online on Zoom. He invited some of his biggest tier 1 suppliers to join PPL to engage minority and women-owned businesses. And at that time, I met a company that they introduced me to. Went through the same process I'm telling everybody to do now, and we got to the point where we went from tier 2. Tier 2 was, we spent 6 months just kind of like getting in, getting familiar. The insurance I had was not the insurance to do IT or management consulting type of work. But then I told Jeremy's on here from the Pinnacle Group. He said, Leland, I'm gonna keep working with you. If you get yourself the $10 million cyber liability, we'll go to tier 1. I'm here to tell you, I was wanting to make the investment. Understand, these small, diverse businesses, make the investment. Everything you ask us to do, we pretty much do. But when we come back, make sure we're rewarded for completing our task. I got my cyber liability, $10 million cyber liability. It cost me quite a couple of dollars. And Jeremy said, we're gonna get you to be tier 1. Big news for us, because now we can use that tier 1, that logo to go to maybe, I know Duquesne Light's on here, so I'm gonna call out Duquesne Light. I'm gonna call out UGI. We wanna engage those companies because I wanna leverage my $10 million cyber liability insurance in our NERC insurance to cover other companies. So when you give us these assignments and we complete them, don't let us just have this, we have everything we wanted. You say we're qualified, but there's no work. So it's important that we see some kind of work come out from our efforts. Next slide. I will say, it says ready, set, go. I want to say ready, set, grow. We want to grow these businesses because understand when we grow these businesses, when people start finally coming back to work, we're going to see a whole new world out here. We have graduates coming out of school. How the small business can hire, we're the fastest. We hire the most people. I mean, these big corporations, they have 1,000, tens of thousands of employees, but small businesses that grow can hire tens of hundreds of employees and help grow this economy. So thank you for listening to my spiel. I'll let Meg or Christine take over from here.
Well, Leland, actually, it's Valerie who's going to take over from here and say thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your insights, for encouraging everyone to make the most of today's event. You touched on so many important points about follow-up, about communication going both ways, about leveraging the tools that the businesses have in their toolbox as a result of engaging with one company to help them engage with another company. That is ultimately the purpose of SHARE. And so we're very, very, very thankful for having you today. Your insight has always been valuable to us, helped us make this event even more impactful and cast a wider net. You've leveraged your network, you've leveraged your knowledge, you've leveraged your experience to the benefit of all. So thank you so very much, Leland, for today. As I look at, the registration numbers, to Leland's point, we have exceeded the numbers of previous years. We know that the virtual environment creates more accessibility. It certainly is not the only way that we want to engage with each other, but we certainly see this as being a valuable tool in our toolbox when we want to match our diverse businesses with opportunities out in the market. So I want. Did you hear me? I muted myself briefly. We're going to continue to offer virtual programming, but we'll also offer a hybrid as we all go back into our next phase of business, industry, and life. We're going to be engaging live, but we're also going to continue to leverage the efficiencies of the virtual world as well. So I want to thank you all for today. I do have a few housekeeping items before we close out. I want to remind you that at your scheduled time, please log in at share2021.mbmapp.com. The link is in the chat, or click on the magic link in your confirmation email. Go to your schedule, then join. The virtual room button will be enabled 10 minutes before your meeting. If you experience any technical problems, you will have access to my Business Matches support system from your screen, as well as a conference number to connect with each other over the phone, and an I need help button at your fingertips. If the person you are to meet isn't in the room after 2 to 3 minutes, someone from our support team will join your room and let you know that we are reaching out to the other person. Please be patient in case of technical issues. You may log off of your meetings when you are complete. Again, I want to thank you. I want to wish you all good meetings. Please leverage the opportunity to connect with new partners. We have so many new partners joining us this year, both on the buyer and supplier side. And so, you know, I am a forever Girl Scout. And we always say, make new friends and keep the old, because one is silver and the other is gold. Well, let's look at it this way. Make new friends, make new connections, and amplify the old, because one is green and the other is going to lead to more gold. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.